Today we're actually looking at the Ernie Ball Ernesto Pala ball end nylon strings. So you can see that. Now I wanted to review a few more of the ball end nylon guitar strings because I've had a lot of people asking me about them. I did a review of the D'Addario EJ32Cs, which are the ball end strings that D'Addario do, and I was very pleased with those, very impressed. And a lot of people have asked me about them, so I decided I'm going to do a series of ball end nylon strings. The first ones, obviously now, or second ones in the list, are these Ernesto Palo ball end guitar strings from Ernie Ball. Now they come in your normal packaging, 6 little envelopes, and they're nicely marked on the front there, tell you which strings which and where they go. So that's quite handy. And the one thing that you'll find with ball end strings is a lot of people tend to go for them because you don't have to tie any knots on the back end. There we go. If we can get that in there without any lights on it. There's no tied knots on there. They're just typically like an acoustic guitar strings, your steel strings. So they're much easier to fit. They're quicker to fit. There's two pluses on that. They're quicker to fit. If you break one, they're easier to change. And also, if you notice on the bridge there, on the saddle, don't know if you can get that quite clear in the camera there, because you're not pulling them back up with a knot on the top there, you get a tighter attack angle, which in theory should produce more volume. So here we go with my review of the Ernie Ball Ernesto Palo ball and nylon strings, and these ones are actually the black and gold, which a lot of people like. A lot of flamenco players like the black and gold ones because they go very well with their typical, you know, light coloured yellow and black binding flamenco guitars with their black and gold tuning strings. they set them off quite nicely. I've got to be honest with you, I'm not that impressed with them. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, and I like the silver basses and clear nylon. Well, I play on my Taylor. I actually play carbon strings on there, so I tend to like the traditional look, but that's just me. It might not be your opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion on the black and gold strings. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think of them. Do you use them? What do you think of them? Me personally, not very impressed really with these Ernie Ball end strings. Two reasons. The basses here, these bronze basses, they're a little bit boomy for my like, and the black nylon unfortunately feels very plasticky to me. Feels very plasticky. It's not doesn't feel like your typical nylon strings. And the other complaint I had with them is they took forever to actually stretch in and stay in tune, and they're still going out of tune now, unfortunately. Hence the reason I've got a tuner stuck on the end here constantly, because they just don't stay in tune. So that's my two cents worth first. Not very impressed with them because they feel and sound, the trebles, the black trebles, feel and sound very plasticky to me. That's just my opinion. Please let me know if you have a different opinion down in the comment section below. And the second thing I don't like about them is they take ages to stretch in and you're constantly tuning them. So you play a song and then you're tuning them back in again, which is absolutely no good if you're gigging. Let's hear what they sound like. That's the main thing. So here we go. We're unplugged, no amplification or anything like that. I want you to hear the natural sound of them, and this is what the Ernie Ball and Ernesto Pala ball and nylon black and gold guitar strings sound like. that sounds a bit plasticky to me. Up the top end as well. It just don't seem to ring. They sound alright with a pick, give them that. I don't know, for me personally, I'm not very impressed. My final thoughts on them. I think they'd be very good. They're very good. Alright, you can't complain to them. These are actually on offer on Amazon at the moment for $5. So for a set of nylon strings that you don't have to tie the ends on for $5, you can afford to get yourself a box and change them every month. I don't really know how long they're going to last. I mean, they're not ringing out very nicely to start with, so I don't know what they're going to sound like in a month's time. I would say they're probably more suited to somebody who's maybe a folk singer or something like that tends to strum the guitar more, because they ring out lovely when you're strumming. They're certainly not something I would fit for classical. There's no ring to it. So my final opinion on them, yes, if you're brand new to nylon strings and you don't like the hassle of tying all those typical classical knots up the top end, and you just want something to feed through, yes, they're very good for that. One tip I will give you, you'll notice on the top end there, I haven't actually cut the ends yet. Now normally I'm a bit of a stickler for very tidy strings, but I have heard a lot of people reporting that the ball on the Ernie, certainly on the Ernie Ball ends, the ball sometimes pops off in the first few days. So just as a precautionary measure, don't cut the ends off the strings at the top end here for about a week or two, or at least a week, and then if they're settled in and they're fine, then obviously you can trim them down. The reason that I don't trim them down for the first week is because then if the ball does happen to pop off or you lose it, then you can always slacken it off. You've got enough string there to actually put a normal classical knot on the bridge there, and without having to buy new strings. So I would say very good for new guitar players, new classical guitar players, somebody who wants to play folk, somebody who can't be bothered to learn how to tie the knots on the end, but certainly not for somebody who's a bit more serious about playing classical or nylon string guitars. I wouldn't recommend them. If you want to go for ball end, I would certainly recommend far more than the Ernie Ball end strings, the D'Addario EJ32C folk ball end strings, which I've done a review on, which I said I'll leave a link down the bottom there for you, so you can check that out. And I will be doing a few more reviews in the future, so you know, make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's somewhere down there, over there. You'll find in the little corner there, little red subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you bang the bell as well, because then you'll get notified when I load up any new videos. And I've got lined up, I'm going to be looking, these are the gold and black Ernie Ball ends. They do as well a silver and clear nylon, which I'm going to try those as well, just in case maybe it's just the black and gold that I don't like. And I'm also going to be looking at Martin do some ball end strings. So I've got a series coming up just on ball end nylon strings to let you know which are the best ones suitable for you, if you like. So as I said, don't forget, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please share it with all your nylon guitar buddies, and give me a thumbs up, and as I said, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and I'll see you next week. Hey, have a great week everybody, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next week with another string review. Bye now.